Oh, hello, Edgar MC. Yeah, okay, all right. So we are all here then. So we are ready to roll in about less than a minute.
And I've started the recording.
All right, the way to go, Mark. Hi, John.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Trying to be better.
Yeah,
We all are. So,
that's all right.
well, it looks like it's 7 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting of Middleton Plan Commission for Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021 to order. And the first item is the roll call. Mark or Daphne?
I've got it, Mayor. Brar,
Yeah.
Bruce,
Here.
Erdman Hermans,
Yeah.
Paulson,
Here.
Ramsey,
Here.
Schaefer,
Here,
Clavish,
Here.
7 present, as well as you have Daphne and myself staffing the meeting tonight.
Everybody there. What a wonderful day. Okay, so the next item is the approval of the Plan Commission minutes of November 9th, 2021. Need a motion to approve.
Schaefer moves.
All right.
Slavish.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner John Schaefer and the second by Mike Slavish. Any questions or comments or changes or corrections, anything? Okay, if for all those in favor of the approving the Plan Commission minutes for November 9th, 2021, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Well, motion passes unanimously. We are on to the agenda item number 1. Set a public hearing for general implementation plan amendment on Tribeca Village to allow stormwater pond and parking lot on lands north of 3440 Tribeca Drive and west of Tribeca Drive. So who's going to take it? I guess there are some changes. We are only doing the pond, not the parking lot. Mark, is that correct?
Correct, yes, and the developer understands that and agrees to that.
Okay. So, but we still have to approve this whole thing, right?
Well,
now?
we're setting the hearing, right? This is a formality because it's a class 2 notice. We actually have published it already once. This is just to provide the public notice and have the official direction to schedule the hearing.
Okay, all right.
Ramsey will move to set a public hearing Tuesday, December 14th, 2021 at 7 p.m.
I second it. And any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor of the motion to set a public hearing for general implementation plan amendment in Tribeca Village to allow stormwater pond and parking lot in lands north of 3440 Tribeca and west of Tribeca Drive, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, so motion passed unanimously. We are to item number 2. Concept review amendment to zoning in Tribeca Village to allow stormwater pond and parking lot lands north of 3440 Tribeca Drive and west of Tribeca Drive. We already went over it. So it is going to be only for the stormwater pond and not for the parking lot. So Mark or Abby or anyone want to say anything more?
Abby's not present tonight, but I'll take it.
Okay.
Brad Hutter and Sarah Church are here with you tonight to answer any questions if you wish them to provide any comments on what they're requesting. But as you noted, Mayor, we are going to, this is for a regional stormwater pond, which we appreciate the collaboration we've had with Brad and Sarah to come up with this regional solution that also benefits this development. I don't really have too much to add, but maybe if you would be amenable, they could speak to this as well. It's just before you tonight for concept.
Okay, well, Brad or anyone else who want to speak, you're welcome now.
Brad, we can't hear. Oh, there you are.
Sorry, I'm not as technically proficient as probably the rest of you, so it took me a few seconds to figure out what buttons to press. I wasn't purposely delaying you. No, we are also very appreciative. I'm here with Matt Schreiner from Deerbicker, and we are also very appreciative of the cooperation we've had with the city and in coming up with this plan over in many months. This stormwater facility addresses the approximately 50 acres of regional water that is coming from on the other side of the Beltline from the town of Middleton, which the original Tribeca plan envisioned most of that being detained in the DOT right-of-way, and it was adopted as such in the plan over a decade ago. However, the DOT is not willing to do that. So as we are proceeding with the development of Tribeca, so typically in a development like this, we would need to move offsite water simply across our property without adding to it. But 50 acres of water is a ton of water, obviously, and we don't want to push it up to Gray River Pond. We don't want to push it down to Pheasant Branch without having it being dealt with appropriately. So we engaged Veerbecker and Matt and Sarah and the rest of that crew to come up with a solution that was going to be something that was viable for the city of Middleton, for the residents there regarding stormwater from an environmental perspective, and also then addressing, you know, our own issue at Tribeca of what do we do with this 50 acres of offsite water? Because if we just followed the standard development plan that would typically, you know, that we would typically do, we just need to relocate it. But we needed to, you know, the better solution is to figure out how to address this all of this water, especially during major storm events. And I think we've done it here. Bergstrom's been a great partner and willing to sell us this site at a very reasonable cost in order to address the stormwater issues that that area is experiencing because of all the water that's coming from the other side of the Beltline. We appreciate everyone's consideration. If anyone has additional questions, we put a lot of months of work in on this with the city, but we are here to answer any questions you may have about the approach. One last thing, the additional land that is currently shown as likely a parking lot here is not intended to be improved at this point. It's our intention to develop, once this is done, the rest of Tribeca, and to the extent that we expect to put commercial facilities, which is what the city desires here, on the land we currently own, and then simply use whatever remainder land is here after the stormwater facility is constructed in order to have additional parking. But that would be in the future at some point. It would come forward with a plan, with a proposal for development before the council and so forth in a typical fashion, including the parking designs and so forth, you know, for approvals. So at this point, really, we're just looking at the stormwater facility and the necessary approvals to proceed with that. Did I say that right, Matt?
Yeah, the parking lot, as the mayor suggested, that's just going to be part of District C, and a plan for that area will be brought forward, as Brad mentioned, at a later point in time.
Right.
Okay, any questions for Brad or his team? Any questions from the commissioners? Please raise your hands. Randy?
Yes, Matt or Brad, given that we're amending the GIP, would you be able to give us some general plan for the area where the parking lot would be, similar to the GIP level that's on the rest of the Tribeca PDD?
Sure.
Can I hit the 30,000 foot and then you can hit the
Sure.
technical? So 30,000 foot view here is that this parcel of land was part of Tribeca originally. It was sold prior to MIG acquiring it and was acquired by Vanta. Vanta then sold it to Bergstrom. So this actually was part of Tribeca, but then was carved off. Effectively, what we're doing is simply trying to add it back, this land, adding it back to Tribeca, and then using a good portion of it to address the stormwater facility needs. And so the approvals that we're looking for here is simply to basically merge the land that used to be in Tribeca that was controlled or oversaw by the prior Tribeca plan, kind of bringing it back into the fold, so to speak. And so the leftover land, from my perspective, down the road as we engage in contracts and development contracts, that this leftover land would be simply treated the same way as the city wants the rest of Tribeca treated regarding commercial development. I can expand on that, but I'll let Matt then hit the technical side.
Yeah, and so Randy, what we would propose to do is show that parking lot as on the GIP as a hardscape area, not defining building or parking specifically. And the intent would be to have that all be included in District C. District C allows for high density office and ground floor retail or separate lower level retail along with associated parking. And that's what we're going to develop there. That's what was currently contemplated there. It's just that we don't have massing or building form figured out yet. And so to allow some flexibility, that's what we would propose. And I don't know if Randy, that answers your question, but.
Yeah, I think we just, I don't know what the other commissioners think. I'm obviously this is a good, getting the stormwater management taken care of, I think is excellent. I just want to make sure we have enough definition to the GIP that we could administer it down the road. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Anyone else having questions for Brad or Matt? Anyone else? Okay, then I need a motion to approve the concept review for the amendment zoning in Tribeca Village to allow stormwater pond. And then the address, the land north of 3440 Tribeca Drive and west of Tribeca Drive.
Ramsey would move approval of the concept.
This is Kurt. I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Elder Ramsey, second by Elder Kurt Paulson. Any questions or comments? We are only doing the stormwater pond. Okay, if there are no questions or comments, all those in favor of the approval of the concept review amendment to zoning in Tribeca Village to allow stormwater pond on lands north of 344 Tribeca Drive and west of Tribeca Drive, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We are on to item number 3, the certified survey map for Stonehorse Green 7550 Hubbard Avenue. Mark, you want to say a few words?
Sure. This, of course, everyone knows where this is. This is the new Stonehorse Green, the plaza next to the Village Green across from Middleton Center. And we are combining, the CSM combines the original lots that were there for the individual structures that were on the site previously, and this combines them into one lot and also gives some land to Village Green for the purpose of, so that they aren't encroaching onto the lot that the city would retain ownership of. Very straightforward.
Anybody has any questions? It also takes care of some of the issues with the Village Green. So they
Right.
have the overhang a little bit over there, and they also got that handicap ramp on Allenwood. So this will wrap up all of those things. So I think seems like a good thing to do. So any questions from any of the commissioners? If none, need a motion to approve. So I can make a motion to approve the certified survey map for Stonehorse Green 7550 Hubbard Avenue.
Schaefer seconds.
Second by John Schaefer. Any questions or comments? Just a cleanup. Village Green is still having a ramp. That is a city property, but that's how it is. We got reached an agreement and that's where we are. All those in favor of the motion of approving the certified survey map for Stonehorse Green 7550 Hubbard Avenue, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
And this was a recommendation to the council specifically.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's exactly my motion, Mark. So
Yeah.
recommendation to the council. Item number, and I'm, John, you agree with that, right?
I agree. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, we can't just let council do some things too, so.
I heard it that way.
Okay, item number 4, official map review and discussion. Mark, it's all yours.
Yeah, and I want to thank Daphne for her mapping expertise. She is, as you've heard before, without her, we wouldn't be having upped our mapping game, if you will. So I want to thank her for that. We did have gotten some suggestions to change the line width and improve the, so that some of the features are more visible. So we are working on that for the council meeting. But in the meantime, what's before you is changes to the official map that, as you saw in my memo to you, the city maintains an official map, and we can map a variety of features, not just roads, but trails and parks, waterways, public transit facilities, railroad rights of way, those sort of things. And the main reason why we felt this needed to come before you tonight is because when the county purchased the acre property and added it to the Pheasant Branch Conservancy, they took away the route for the future Bellefontaine Boulevard. And so we are now showing a realigned S-curve, if you will, that goes through, basically divides, goes along property lines between High Road and Pheasant Branch Road and the High Z and other acres. We have acres of acres north of the city. And so that's realigned. And we're also proposing realigning a east-west regional trail that we've always envisioned would be paved, so that as it comes across the north side of North Lake, connecting with Bishop's Bay Parkway, it would now turn and connect to the the trailhead for the Pheasant Branch Conservancy edition that the county purchased. And so we're seeing this as an opportunity to connect to that trailhead, and then extending farther west to connect with high points that have some vistas over the surrounding area. That's why it kind of follows the route that it does. It basically, I identified using a topographic map, the high points. And that's purely the reason why that route is selected as it is just to try and recognize that high points are a public asset, and it would be nice to have some access to the top of those hills. Otherwise, I don't think from a policy standpoint there were any other substantive changes. I will say that a couple hours ago we received information from the Madison Area Transportation Planning Board, the MPO, Metropolitan Planning Organization, that they have done the modeling for Bellefontaine Boulevard, and they have looked at our future growth area and our future land use plan, and have concluded that a 4-lane facility is not necessary to meet future travel demand.
Hey, the way to go,
Yeah,
the way to go.
I figured you would be happy with that.
Excellent.
Yes, and yes.
So we literally just got that email. I haven't even read it all the way through, but I just wanted to pass that on, that it still is important to map this facility, because I mean, as the city's de facto transit planner, I really would like to see a continuous route along the north side of the city, so we can have a circulation for bus service. So that's why it's still important to, I think, map this route as a continuous route.
So
Daphne,
Mark,
oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
how
Mayor.
about if you make the high road and bother? I mean, the way it is, why would you do what you have done here unless you plan to combine this with high road? It's just adding more impervious surface.
Well,
here.
my easy answer to that is, as everyone well knows, when you have existing roads, people don't want to see more traffic on them, and development should pay for regionally significant roads, which I think this would still be. It still would function as a collector street. I think widening High Road, and there's obviously, with development in this area, there's still going to have to be a road network. So it would be my position as staff, but I think my colleagues in planning and engineering would agree that we still need to augment or have additional road besides High Road and Pheasant Branch Road. A lot of people don't want Pheasant Branch Road to carry any more traffic. And when there's some people who would wish there be more traffic on Pheasant Branch Road. So I think we still need the regional facility.
Yeah, so it's just what I really see is that what you did is the Balzer Road is great. So, but here, just creating this coordinate of, I don't know how much of that land is. So, and I don't know, something to think about. It seems like so wasteful. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's have questions comments from other commissioners. So I just would like to say that, Port Long High Road and Balzer, and if we need to change a little bit, fine. So I don't know if we gain a whole lot here. So anyone else has some comments, please raise your hands or just speak.
Mayor,
Yep.
Mayor, yeah, I also just wanted to point out that we did add some future park space in like unacquired land. So right here, kind of underneath Misty Valley and above the Conservancy Bend, I've put in some like diagonal lines, and that was under basically our thought was to connect the greenways between Graber Pond and Pheasant Branch to have some kind of future parkland area. You can notice up here by the Bell Farms, that area is also noted, and then we also added one. It is kind of small here above Pleasant View Golf Course for the quarry area. If that area is to ever be annexed into the city, none of these park spaces are, this is exactly where a park should go, but we wanted it mapped out in certain areas so that if development ever happens there, we sort of have something in our official map saying that a park would be there as well.
Definitely, that's awesome. I like that. As John, Commissioner, Professor John Schaefer would say, yes.
I'd say
Please
awesome.
grade
Awesome.
Dean, Professor, all of those things. Yes, yes.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So, I guess when the time comes, we will see where it goes. But I'm happy with what Daphne said. Mapping some of those park areas. It becomes much harder. We don't want that the southwest corner of the city to happen again. That's simply unacceptable. So, well, any questions or comments? Otherwise, I will make a motion to send it to Public Works Committee, Pedestrian Bike and Transit Committee, Parks, Recreation and Forestry Commission. Anyone else who I want to see as well?
You may
Mark,
have-
do we need to refer to Common Council to have the public hearing?
I think in my staff memo, I might have said that. I didn't update my staff recommendation. It doesn't hurt to, I mean, it would go there automatically anyway, but if you wish to include that in the list, that's perfectly, I think the idea is it would go to the committees first before it goes to the council. So once the committees have acted, we would take it to the council and have them schedule the hearing.
Sounds good.
Okay. Gretchen. Go ahead.
I might have missed it, but the Bellefontaine Boulevard route, is there a bike path included in that?
So that is, it's probably it is hard to see on the map, but the idea would be that, yes, there would be a bike path alongside Bellefontaine. When we originally conceived of it as a 4-lane road, we envisioned bike lanes on each side of bike lanes as opposed to a bike path, which is separate from the roadway, outside the curb. But I think the way that Bell Farm is being proposed, and there's more desire by the public to have paths as opposed to on-street bike facilities, bike lanes, we would recommend having a bike path alongside the road as well, on one side at least.
That's
To
great.
supplement the other paths that I mentioned earlier.
So that piece of high road between Misty Valley and going up to Northside School, is there any plan to put a bike path or bike lane there to connect those neighborhoods to that school?
Well, we put in the bike path that's there today as kind of a Band-Aid, if you will, because when Misty Valley developed, it was only connected to the city through Graber Pond. It was contiguous through Graber Pond, but not because of the farm, the The Ziegler Farm on the west side of High Road, and then the acres on the east, that wasn't annexed to the city at the time, so we didn't have a mechanism to add a sidewalk along the road at developer expense. So the city put in that path, which, as you know, is better than nothing, but there's still people who feel it's not sufficient. When High Road gets, when that area develops, High Road will be improved to an urban cross section with curb and gutter and sidewalk, and that would probably be a good time to improve that path as well.
Okay.
And I would add that the Friends of Pheasant Branch Conservancy have, and I mentioned this in the memo as well, they have expressed concern about, or they would prefer not to see a paved path or a regional path going through the Pheasant Branch Conservancy, the part that got added. They feel that affects the is counter to the habitat restoration efforts that they're planning. So I just wanted to mention that will be part of a hearing. I'm sure that will be testimony they provide at the hearing. So I'm just providing it to you up front. As the city's de facto bicycle planner, I think, you know, we've had this route across the north side of the city planned for over a decade. In fact, it goes back to the mid-90s when North Lake was developed. We put in an easement, the city council did, an easement across the north side of North Lake, all those lots there, to have a future east-west paved bike path. So we've got 25 years of planning for a regional path across the north side of the city. So that's why the route is still shown on the official map.
It would be nice to see a bike path. We live, we back up to Pheasant Branch Road right on the hill. There's no shoulder, and bike teams go down it a couple times a week. And I keep thinking one of these days, there's going to be an accident right outside my house. Terrifies me.
I can tell you that the regional bicycle, that the group rides will not take a path. They take the road because of their speed, and they're in a group and they're safer in numbers. But certainly for families and people who are less comfortable riding on the street, our path connection, our path network in the city is really important. And we've made great strides with it, and we want to keep building on that with the official map.
Great. I can't wait to see it done. So the new parkland between Graber Pond and along Whittlesley to Pheasant Branch, I believe that's wetland. Is there any sort of designation between green space, wetland, park space, like useful park space in the thought about where we're designating?
As you're talking on the north side of Whittlesea there?
Yeah, the new right along the city limits line, Whittlesea, there's
Right.
some new parkland there.
Oh, I
headed
see what you
toward
mean, the
Graber
shaded,
Pond.
the
That's all
crosshatch.
wetland behind there currently.
Correct.
Yeah.
And will remain. I'm sure that there'll be some concern with extending Whittlesea. As you noted, Gretchen, there's some wetland in that area. The reason why we're showing this street connection, this extension, is it was always planned that way when Pheasant Branch Ridge was developed. And it's important to have a street grid for circulation so that a few streets don't carry all the burden of traffic. And so we have that path connection through there and the street, as Daphne mentioned earlier. This just shows the idea of connectivity and an ideal alignment. But when development happens, there will be more detailed planning to make these connections happen as makes the most sense from a environmental and development planning standpoint.
It's nice to see the connected green space because I know that wildlife need that connectivity. The fragmentation is a problem for wildlife. So it's nice to see the connected green space.
Yeah,
Excellent
and Gretchen,
points.
to answer your question about like wetland and park space, I believe the city, we have like a general rule that if it's like a wetland or stormwater, for managing water, that is not considered parkland specifically. So if there was going to be additional park space here, it would be outside of the wetland. So whatever development happens over here, that would have to be separate from the wetland area.
Right.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Please raise your hand Otherwise, remember that this is the last item. We will be adjourning after this. So, you know, if you like the meeting here, so you have opportunity to ask more questions now. Or tell stories, anything which you choose, so. Okay, if nothing of that sort, then all those in favor. of
I
the
had a motion from Mayor Brar, but I didn't hear a second.
John, Commissioner
Schaefer,
John
second.
Schaefer.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I missed that. Okay, thank you.
So this is sending this official map review to committees, the Public Works Committee, Pedestrian Bike and Transit Committee, Parks, Recreation and Forestry Commission. Anyone else you can think of, Mark?
No, I think that's a good list. I will add that followed by
Sustainability?
the Common Council to set a hearing.
Okay,
so that
so
it's
you
publicly
don't
noticed.
think a Sustainability Committee needs to look at it, or?
Well, there's nothing stopping them from looking at it. You know, I don't think that that's that's not really.
Okay, anyway, yeah, that's fine. So these three are fine. So all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Now what's next now? I think Elder Ramsey is about to tell a story now, how his day was today. I like your
It was a good day, but my day's not on the agenda, so, but it was a good day.
Okay, well, all right, so we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Was that
Okay,
Dan, I
right.
assume? Okay. And Bruce.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion to adjourn, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Well, good evening and have a great time, and thank you for all your service.
Thank you.
Aye,
Everyone, have a
everyone.
good
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Well, happy